I'm gonna leave him down in the basement real quick. If he hears me, don't come back up here.
Oh wow.
We've got a surprise for people, and we're gonna let
Yeah, we
the
do.
people come in.
And the surprise is not me. I just want to make that
no,
clear. The
surprise is not him, but
me.
I really want to. And some of y'all may have seen it just for a second, but I really want to bring somebody up that's
I didn't even see it.
really, really deserves a lot. Especially, I've kept up with this person and everything.
Don't give
Mike.
it away.
All right.
Quit talking. You're going to give it away.
I know. All right, we'll go ahead and give it away. We got 9 people in here. All right, here he comes. Boom. Boom.
There he is.
What's going on, everybody? Actually glad I'm back on it again. Although can't talk quite as much as I'd like to, but I won't be here.
We've talked about this. We know it's hurting you.
Yeah.
It's good to see that beautiful mug of yours. It is. It just is. Does my heart good.
So that I noticed a while ago, Big Mike was saying Auckland. As you can see, my more's done.
That's right.
Awesome short, KB.
Yep. Put
Absolutely.
out that short about it.
Yep. But welcome to TNT Presents Wednesday's night's main event. And like you see, it's me and Kevin are back at it. And it's always great to have my partner in crime with me on the show. It's not really a good show without him with me. So definitely glad to have him back.
You did great last week, so
I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. But our guest for the night is Mr. Creole Catfish, Mr. Jeremy Defoe.
What's going on, fellas?
And I don't know if you all saw some of the sayings I had about the show. We're gonna get in some little touchy stuff. We'll just put it that way.
A little bit. Nothing. You don't need to go put the kids to bed. Nothing like that. No. We're not going to start.
This is not a after midnight show.
No. It could be, but we're not.
Yeah, we're not going to get there.
Could be.
Yeah,
but we're not.
I want to say hello to
Dexter.
He did. I don't know that he knew or not about me having a stroke last week. So I just wanted to say hi to Dexter.
There's our buddy. He's kept up with me.
Hey, Chris, what's up, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Chris and I and preacher Jim, we're going out this weekend, I think, to fish. So maybe I can get on my 40 plus found blue cat.
Yeah, buddy.
But anyways, go ahead.
So let's talk about a little bit before YouTube.
Oh, that's all.
Let's get into it. Let's get into a subject it's pretty much a lot of people talked about. Oh, what fishing's like on YouTube and stuff like that, but a lot of us didn't have the. I don't want to say the word not a good reputation before YouTube. But we had a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
Before YouTube.
Oh yeah, sure. Well,
I know I've been in it. I know I've been in it because.
Oh yeah. I
know where I started out fishing, and a lot of my fishing ended up somewhere where we all think is pretty bad now.
Sure.
So what was it? Tell us a little bit about Creole catfishing, or I'm guessing it was just Jeremy Defoe.
It was just I think I was a very, very hard watcher of YouTube, catfishing on YouTube, for probably about a year or so before I decided to start my own channel. Okay, and keep in mind, down here where I live, South Central Louisiana, even to this day, trophy catfishing, that's not a word you hear very much. That's just not a very common thing around here. When people talk about catfishing in my area, it's, you know, trot lines, hoop nets, things like that. It's a food source. That's just all it is. You know, and I've fished all my life. But growing up with Dad, it was brim fishing, sac-a-lait fishing. I had me and a couple of my buddies. We would do some bass fishing here and there. We you know, we would tight line for goo at the same hydro I bump at now. Was never a thought to catfish. We would fishing for other things, and that's just kind of how I grew up fishing and everything. But it was the way I grew up. If you caught it, you kept it. It didn't matter what it was,
what size it was,
how many. None of that mattered. If you caught it and got it in the boat or put it on the bank, you were keeping it. It was going to get eaten, though. It wasn't going to get wasted. It was going to get eaten.
And so that goes into a lot of the controversy now is taking big fish out of the water.
Yep, exactly. So at one point, I'm going to say it's been about 12 years ago now. I had a good friend of mine that kept asking me, hey, you need to come fishing with us. You need to come try this. I'm like, all right, what are we going to do? He said, we're going snagging. I said, okay. And I've known people that have done it. I had never done it myself up to that point. So I said, all right, let's go. So we take off, we go to the river. And the first night, and we're all doing it at night. This is not during the day. But first trip we make, we catch 2 big yellow cat and a bunch of blues right off the bat. And of course, well, snagging for one thing, it's not, you know, it's not a very positive thing in our community. Yeah. And look, all those big fish got kept, brought them home, cleaned them, and ate them. And that right there, believe it or not, that first snagging trip is what led to me doing trophy catfishing on YouTube. It did, because I got addicted to feeling those big fish pull.
But you were snagging them in the wrong way.
Oh,
you were catching them in the wrong way.
Absolutely. And we did that hot and heavy for about 2 years. 2 years worth. And I will tell you now, we hooked some very big fish that did not get CPR. The biggest we caught while we were doing it, me and him, was a 55-pound yellow cat. And that is a really big fish by anybody's standards. And I can tell you, he got brought home and he got clean and ate. That was, you know, turning a big catfish loose was never a thought in anybody's mind at that time.
Well, honestly, CPR really wasn't a thing there for a long time.
Probably back then it wasn't. You know, believe it or not, it's still not in my area. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I'll still get funny looks to this day. And, you know, we did that for about 2 years or so. And like I said, it was all about that pull of those big fish. Then when my son Caleb was born, just busy, life took over, everything else. We just kind of quit going snagging. And I didn't fish for quite a few years. I didn't fish at all for probably 7 or 8 years. Between, you know, me and my buddy had a hobby working on cars, doing all this, just got wrapped up in all kinds of other hobbies. Well, I forget what started it, what gave us the idea. But my son and I were talking, and my oldest son, Gabe, he kept wanting to go fishing. He's like, hey, let's, you know, because my wife's uncle has a stocked pond right here across my driveway. It's 100 yards from my front door. So before I know it, I'm fishing with him, you know, and that kind of started getting me back in it. And we're just pond fishing. You know, we're catching brim, catching bass, catching a couple of channel cats here and there. And the memories of snagging started coming up. And I started thinking to myself, like, man, I really don't want to go snagging again. Been there, done that. I wonder if we can catch these big fish on rod and reel, like hook in the mouth. Can we catch them? I was always taught from an early age that you can't really catch those big catfish on a baited hook. It just doesn't work that way. You got to catch them on nets or snag them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said, okay, all right. from Georgia, you'd have to come down here and come get it. The only other way I know to get it, if you go to that website, CajunGrocer.com, I believe they'll ship it to you. I'm not 100% on that. I'm almost sure, but you can definitely check them out. And I believe they can ship some to you. It's pretty good, too. So kind of got this idea in our head, like, hey, we really want to try this, okay? Well, what do you do when you want to learn something these days? You go on YouTube, right?
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
literally, I typed in YouTube, catching big catfish on rod and reel. And I'll never forget the first video I ever watched of trophy catfishing was Steve Douglas catching really, really big flatheads on cut bait. Like he was, I forget what the video was titled, but he was drifting for them during the fall with huge pieces of cut bait. Well, I'm watching this guy do this, and I'm like, he's doing nothing he's doing I've ever heard of. This is a whole new world for me. And I'm watching this like, wow, this is crazy what these guys doing. Okay. Next video I watched, Richard Jean, the fishing machine. When he caught that massive flathead, it took him like 50 minutes to bring in. That was my second one I watched. So I said, so apparently it can be done. I just need to figure out what these guys are doing. And I just went down the wormhole of I binged trophy catfishing on YouTube probably for 6 months straight. And little cheap gear back then, all I had was some ugly sticks, Shakespeare reels, just getting anything together. Because I hadn't fished in so long that I really didn't have any fishing gear. All the gear I had was 15 years old. So I kind of had to start from scratch. So we start looking into this, and before we know it, my father-in-law, I didn't have my boat at the time. I did not own a boat at this time. My father-in-law offered me, he had a 17-foot tracker, a little, regular tracker grizzly. He's like, look, I'll run my boat. If you want, borrow it. Y'all go in the river, do whatever y'all want to do. So here goes me and my son. My wife, Laura, came with me a lot. We start going fishing. And I know nothing about reading that river, nothing about any of this stuff. We go out and we skunk and we skunk and we skunk. And I'm watching videos of trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And finally, we start catching some teeners. I remember my first 25-pound blue that I caught. I was so excited. And just every trip, the fish were getting bigger and bigger. And in about a 6-8 month period, we went from skunking to catching at least a 50 every time we would go out. But every fish was getting brought home. Every fish. I remember the fall from August to December, the fall before I started my YouTube channel, we caught 1,400 pounds of catfish, live, and none of them got CPR'd. Not a single one. We cleaned, and somebody ate every pound of that fish. It was me, my family. I fed an entire job site at work on a construction site with 2 big fish. My wife's PB of 58 pounds, we ate that fish. I fed a construction site with that fish. And in fact, that fishing trip, we caught her PB, another one that was lower 50s, a couple of 40s, a couple of 30s. It's probably one of the best fishing trips we ever had. I was so excited about how good we had done. At that time, Chris Souders was still doing Tackle Talk Tuesdays. And I was learning a lot from Chris Souders. Well, I got so excited that, and some of y'all are going to laugh at this now, the stupidity on my part for doing this. But I literally had that 58, that 52, that 46, that 42. I had them lined up side by side on the tailgate of my Can-Am. Okay. Obviously not CPR'd, right? I send that picture to Chris Souders. Okay. I Facebook messaged him that picture of those big fish saying, man, look, I want to thank you for teaching me all this stuff, man. We've been successful in all of this. And God bless him. He didn't ban me. He didn't block me. He didn't ignore me, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
And he sent me the longest Facebook message I've ever gotten in my life. Okay. long message back, like, hey, I appreciate everything. But the final words were, look, I want to tell you what, I don't believe in telling people what to do, but have you ever considered putting these big fish back? And the thought of catching and releasing a fish had never once crossed my mind until that moment. So I said, okay, well, why? What's I'm willing to listen if you're willing to explain it to me. And look, Roger, my heart is hurting. Oh, I know. Trust me.
Well, I was gonna say I could make it hurt even worse from what I experienced as coming up fishing.
Oh yeah,
and fishing the controversy of certain lakes.
So we messaged back and forth a lot over the course of about a week, and he made his case. He made his case to me. Never once tried to tell me what to do or tell me I was wrong or nothing. Just he pleaded his case. Like, hey, I want you to consider these things.
Here's why. Here's
my argument.
It'd be a good idea to do that.
Yeah. He said, you do what you want, but he said, I'm gonna lay it out for you. Here it is. I took what he said into consideration. I said, you know what? Yeah, I know, right? Murillo, you'd have a hard time beating this one, dude. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Murillo's got some time on his hands.
Oh man,
sitting in that office.
Oh God. So between what Chris said and then something Steve Douglas said, I think is the last thing that triggered me on that was that those old fish have all these contaminants built up in them over the course of maybe 20, 30 years, depending how old the fish is. That was the last little thing that kind of got the light bulb going. I said, well, you know what? I think we need to change how we do things. Now, it was an uphill battle to get the rest of my family to agree with the way I was doing things. And still to this day, every now and then, me and Dad may go back and forth a little bit about if we want to keep a fish or not. It still happens,
Yeah.
But I'm lucky that Dad
for you for your entire life, and that's how they
were
brought up too.
Yeah, you have to understand my grandfather. Okay, he's been gone 20-something years now. My grandfather was raised during the Great Depression. You didn't throw back anything. It didn't matter what it was, because that was what you were eating that day. If you didn't keep that, you weren't eating. That's the way life was back then. Growing up hunting and fishing, especially in Louisiana, that's just what we do. That's the way we were raised. And it was a little bit of an uphill battle to get some of these people on board with the idea of CPR and big catfish. And I finally realized it worked and I did some good maybe only a few months ago when I overheard my dad tell one of his buddies, who's a former commercial fisherman, well, you know what? It is kind of nice going out there and having fun catching fish and not having to clean when you get home. That's when I knew. I said, I got him. I finally got him. But it's just funny how, I guess you can say, we did things, not say the wrong way, but we had our way of doing things for 30 years, and then towards the end everything shifts. But the whole YouTube thing it opened my eyes to a world that I did not know existed. I had no idea trophy catfishing was even a thing until I watched that first YouTube video. And needless to say, it kind of changed my life a little bit.
I mean, not even the way I was fishing. I mean, nobody around there ever talked about trophy catfishing.
Yeah. If you would have told me 5 years ago that not only was I catching and releasing big catfish, but I was filming it and going live on YouTube doing it, I would have said you had lost your mind. I would have never in a million years seen myself doing what I'm doing now. It's so crazy. People that have known me all my life still have a hard time believing I do this. They're like, wait, you're on YouTube? Like, yeah, believe it or not. I know. I can't believe it sometimes.
and I'm live fishing doing it. I'm not just putting videos out.
Yeah, we're on camera. Like this is like live. Oh yeah.
And the biggest thing I've got a lot of heat back is a lot of my bass friends. Because that's what I did before the catfishing was I'm a bass fisherman. I'm a true in and out bass fisherman. And a lot of my friends are still at this point is saying, I can't believe you're going live in places you fish. Because you're showing where you fish. I'm sort of going, but the people that watch me don't live 90% of them do not live nowhere near me.
That's a big advantage I have
and
too.
I don't tell them exactly how to get to these spots.
Yeah.
I tell you what creek I'm on, but a lot of people realize the creek I'm on is 99 miles long.
Yeah, exactly. You good luck narrowing that down.
No clue where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly. I've got the same thing going on here that I have no problem telling people exactly where I'm fishing and how I'm catching them, because in my area nobody else is doing it anyway. The very few guys in my area who are doing what I do, we're all buddies. Like we're all friends with each other, and we'll pick on each other. Hey, you fishing my spot? It doesn't matter.
The guy that I have went fishing in the creek with and did a few of my videos with and showed him on the videos. He's like, "Are you still putting videos out on YouTube of the creek that we fish in?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You ain't telling where we're at?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm telling him I'm in Pittman Creek." He goes, "You can't be doing that. We have tons of people come here." I said, "Ain't nobody local watches my stuff."
Exactly. Now,
and if they do, they don't fish it. They ain't gonna get out there and walk the creek like I do.
No. Now, I will say this: there are certain places, especially my dad, that catches very big brim, sac-a-lait, stuff like that. Unfortunately, my YouTube audience will never see those spots. They will never be filmed. They will never be live. It's not happening, because now I've got just enough of local people who do watch my stuff.
Yeah.
If they would find out where these spots are, that's the first place they're going. And Dad would lose his little honey holes that he's got. And so I am forbidden from filming certain areas and certain things because of that.
I was getting ready to highlight that. And I think that's true about a lot of people.
Yeah.
You can tell me where you're fishing at, but don't mean I'm going to catch anything.
That has happened to me, actually. A very good friend of mine, he wanted to, he's like, "Man, I wonder if I can go catch me one of those big catfish." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." I showed him on my phone. You go right here. You throw your anchor, your boat here, back up your boat to here, use this bait, throw your lines here, throw your lines there, be there at such and such time, and you're going to catch at least a 50. Because every weekend we were doing it at that time, just every weekend. Yeah. And he went and he skunked. We went the weekend before him, caught a 50 or over. I can't tell you the weights. And we went the weekend after he went and caught a bunch of big fish. But he skunked right between. Go figure. Just because you give the spot, that does not necessarily mean that somebody's going to go catch all the fish.
Nope.
He speaks. Look at him. He speaks.
Don't make him laugh.
Oh, trust me, I've had him going.
No, I can't speak well anyways.
Yeah.
But you can laugh just fine.
Jim will give me some areas out there on the lake, and I would go out there and I'd go and I'd like, okay, he said being over here, and I'd try it, and next thing I know, I'm not getting anything, and I'm like, I call him back up. I'm like, "You gave me the wrong spot." And he'll, "No, you just ain't catching them."
But that's the absolute truth, though. You know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been on our main creek for flatheads at least 3 times now, and still hadn't caught one.
Yeah.
But to me, I may be just not there at the right time. Because the person that I can trust to tell me where it's at is no longer here. He passed away. And I don't remember if you remember me doing that creek fishing and honoring him, my cousin. That's him. Yep. That was my mentor when it came to flatheads. Well, I never got the opportunity to get him back out after I got a boat. because he had passed away.
Yep. So now you just have to kind of learn. Really, you got to do like I did, learn the hard way. I didn't have anybody to go ask.
There's nobody around me that catfishes.
Exactly, and I thought the same thing. You know, the only advice I could get on catching big catfish, which, you know, take it for what it is from the commercial fishermen around here. Now, I'm lucky. Our commercial fishermen probably do a better job of protecting the trophy population than anybody else, because around here, nobody wants a big catfish to eat. So any blue over 20 pounds or so, they get thrown back. They don't keep them around here. There's no such thing as pay lakes around here. I didn't even know what that was till I got in the community here. I'd never heard of that in my life, you know. And talking to them about where they would encounter these big fish and kind of what conditions, and, you know, I learned a lot from them because they were trying to avoid the big fish. They don't want those big fish. They can't make money off of them. They don't want them. And they quickly realized that I'm not after anything they got. So we kind of very quickly established a relationship. I helped them out. They helped me out. Yeah. They've given me bait plenty of times if they see me in the area. If they had a net that's been catching some real big fish that they turn loose, they'll tell me about it. But I've also learned that doesn't correlate very much to what we do. It really doesn't. Just because they caught a few big fish in a net does not mean I can go there at any given time and they'll be there. It's a totally different thing. You know, even people that say that, oh man, they starting to catch the yellow cat on the trot lines. That doesn't mean very much to me. All that means is, okay, well, at some point the fish move through there.
Yeah.
But I already know that. I already know they're going to move through there. That doesn't help me. I don't have the option of setting up my rods and coming back a day later. You know, you got to be there. It's a totally different kind of fishing. It doesn't.
Absolutely.
A lot of stuff.
When are we going to do the word of the night?
Just whenever.
Somebody needs to give us
a
word.
Of the night. She's here for the rest of the night with me, so she ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Normally we'll have the word of the night, and little Missy here will give us the definition of it.
Okay.
After we try to figure out what it is ourselves.
Oh yeah. You have to look it up first. Yeah.
We have to guess what it is without looking it up. And she gets to look it up.
And we can't get anything from Jim there.
No, Jim is not allowed to give us the word, because he'll give us a word that is just a bunch of made up stuff.
Yeah, or it's get us in
trouble, or get us in trouble.
Yeah, well, there's that. You're leaving yourself open for that. You know.
Yeah.
You've been in enough trouble as it is. You don't need any more of that.
We just don't trust Jim's mind.
No. No. You probably don't want a word of the day from me either. I ain't gonna lie. No.
But before we do that, do you want to do our spotlight, since it's about halfway through the show already?
Sure. Why not?
All right, guys. Normally on Wednesday nights, we always do our spotlight of the night. So we spotlight one of our fellow cat fishermen in our community. So
I got it
pulled
Kevin,
up. Take it up.
Here we go.
I like it.
And our spotlight guy is in the house too.
Stop there, Fresno.
And no, Jim, we're not going to. Jim's already got his word for the day.
Well, that's not a bad one, at least. I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
It could be.
If you remember, that's what Archie Webb used to say it all the time. Archie on back in the day, stoic. So what have we had so far? Anything?
Oh, look at this! Look at this! We're gonna ban him from the chat.
Man,
It ain't like you could do any better there, Cat Man.
Wow, that's below the belt right there.
Yeah.
Ouch.
He knows
Hi,
it's
Jody,
coming
my
from
Jody.
me. He's picking at me.
Do we have a word of the day besides what Jim has? Anybody come up with it? Yep. Well, I mean, Creole, since you're a guest, you have something that might be a little hard for us to try to figure out what it is, top of our head.
So I have to tell you what I think that word means.
Well, no, you come up with a word.
I come.
Yeah, there you go. That's my word of the day, boudin. There you go.
Boudin.
There you go.
Most people don't. Well, for one, most people don't even know how to say it right or spell it right.
Oh, there we
apparently. They're close. They're close, but there's no A in boudin. That's other than that, you got it right. But not many people even know how to say it correctly. So yeah, I guess that would be the word of the day.
I see that Poncho. Damn it.
What's up, Jody?
Jody's in the house.
Yep.
You'll have to excuse me. Apparently, my brain decides that it knows all the bad words, and it comes out when it doesn't want to.
Mine does that on a regular basis.
There's somebody we need to add to our prayer list, guys. Is Gregory, which is Dave's son. He's still sick with some kidney issues. So Dave, give me a call later. Tell me what the test come back.
Yep.
Because I'm very interested in hearing what has come back on that.
Yep.
Definitely to know.
Absolutely.
You haven't guessed yet.
No. No. Okay, Kevin, do you know what boudin is?
I know it's a type of sausage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's basically if you would take, let's say, if you would grind up some pork, mix it with some green onions, some seasoning, and some rice, and then that is put in a sausage casing, but it's soft. It doesn't have the texture of sausage. It's very soft, and it's awesome is what it is. It's awesome.
Is that another name for it right there? What Skip was saying?
Rice and meat field sausage.
Yeah, that in simple terms, yeah, that's kind of what it is. But it's got that soft texture to it. You can't really. I mean, there's some people that do put it on the grill, but you have to be very careful about how you do it, because if it breaks, it's falling apart and it's going to be everywhere.
Oh, we got Uncle Don R says getting my stents out Friday, then surgery on the other kidney.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, I knew. Oh, yeah, and here I am trying to click on comments like I can highlight them. I keep forgetting I'm on this side of things. But Justin's fishing fetish, he knows what boudin is firsthand, because we fed him some on my boat, and I think I changed that boy's life.
Yep.
We couldn't hear about it the next three weeks.
Yeah, I look, and it was the funniest thing. And keep in mind, it was sort of hot for us, but it was about 90 degrees with high humidity. This kid is dying in the boat, okay? And he's just sitting on the front deck of my boat with a big old link of boudin in his hand, just gnawing on this thing like his life depended on it, okay? And he would just look at us and like, this is the best food I've ever had in my life. And it's like he couldn't eat it fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that boy was gonna hurt himself. I'm telling you, I really did.
There's Danny Stone in the house. Appreciate you coming in here, Danny Stone.
What's up, Danny?
He said y'all talking about boudin.
Oh yeah. Well, if I'm on screen, food's got to come up. I mean, that's just.
Jody's already done talking about pudding and Jello.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
If it's anything like your last Jello, Jody, I don't know if I really want it or not.
I saw that.
No, I don't trust anybody in these chats talking about Jello because they probably got chicken in it.
Where did she take it to?
We'll just say it tasted like soap.
I tasted it.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Roger said you done ruined Justin.
Oh yeah. Oh, I ruined it. Well, he got the full gamut of Louisiana snack foods. Okay, he got the cracklins, the boudin, and the hog head cheese. He got all three, so he's ruined now. That's a done thing. I'm very proud of that. By the way, very proud of it.
Okay. Double Hook says he doesn't want to smoke. All right, you want to say it?
Yes.
All right, she wants to say the definition of it.
Blood sausage.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yep.
Not a fan of it, but I know what it is.
Yep. No, that's what the definition gave is blood sausage for boudin.
Yeah.
That's not the right definition. I can tell you now. Now they do make a boudin that has the blood in it. That's one type of it. I will say that.
Okay, it's the word boudin means blood sausage in French, where the tradition originated.
Yeah, I guess back in the day, that's all they would make. Like some people do still make it that way. I don't think you're gonna find that in any of the stores. I've never seen it in a store anywhere. The only time I've ever seen the old blood boudin is like when somebody's actually making a boucherie and doing it by hand. That's the only time I've ever seen it, and I'm not a fan. It's got a very salty taste to it because of all the blood in it. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I know my dad loves it.
There you go.
Yeah.
You have to put in what is Louisiana boudin.
That's a whole different thing.
There you go.
Boudin is made from a blend of pork cooked down with onions, peppers, seasoning, and cooked rice.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to make a trip down there and have some of yours.
Oh, look, it's the place we get it from. It's really hard to find better than the little place close to the house that makes it. Oh my God, and that's the one Justin had. It's very, very, very good. I love it. That's why we're the size we are, is because that's what it is.
There you go. Kelly,
Jody says never. I repeat, never make the dump cake Creole talks about. Turned out like a big sponge.
I don't know how in the world she messed up a dump cake that's got 3 ingredients in it.
I know.
3 ingredients.
Hey, she messed up Jello and it's got 2: water and Jello package.
I told Richard, okay, Richard Cluck, Fishing and Freedom. I gave him the exact same recipe that I gave Jody. Okay, 3 ingredients. Okay, he liked it so much he just about hurt himself eating it, and Jody said it's no good. So I don't know what to do with that information anymore. I just don't.
Yep.
All right. What is he saying?
I don't know either. It was probably misspelled. It's probably misspelled, which is why I don't recognize what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, see, Sky tried to pronounce it.
Look. Okay, I have a disclaimer here. Okay, I am not even really fluent in the Cajun French. I can't spell half of it either. Okay, so when I tell people it's probably spelled wrong, it's because I don't know how to spell it. And if I can't, nobody else has a chance. And don't think you're going to go in a French dictionary and find this stuff. It's not French. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, man, I said it's not really a Cajun word. So
yeah.
Here's Jody's excuse.
What? Oh, yeah.
I thought I told you to put a little bit of sugar in it, Jody. I said you have the option of putting sugar in it. That's what I said. You have the option of putting sugar in it, depending on with the pie filling you use. Some of it don't have no sugar. It depends. I didn't want to put anybody in a coma. You know, I don't want
to. I mean, it was not sweet enough, then
yeah.
Just, eat less.
I don't know. To me, there's no such thing as too sweet. Just pour it to it. It doesn't even matter anymore.
I don't know. I've had some stuff that was way too sweet, even for me. So,
my wife makes a couple of things that you take a bite, it'll crack behind the ears. It's sweet. Oh yeah,
I've got that happen before.
Right though. It's just right.
Yeah, go back with a cup of milk, and then you're good to go.
Oh yeah, good. It just resets everything. You're good to go after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hubcap point. You make a good point. French is hard. Cajun French is either 10 times harder because it's all slang. A lot of it is not even written down. Our Cajun French we speak in this area is a little different from the one in South Louisiana. It can get really confusing very fast.
I see small.
Mr. John from Small Water Charters is in the house.
Come on, brother.
I tried to say it.
I know you did.
It's the thought that counts.
Yes. Hey, we're like I said, we're just happy you're here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I get to see that pretty mug one more time. I love it.
Do you have anything to say about that mug?
What?
Do you want to go ahead and say it? Because you said you want to first crack at it.
What?
What we talked about.
I don't remember now. I've slept since then. You got to forgive me on that. Is it the thing I'm looking at off to the side?
No.
Okay,
no.
Not that. I don't even remember. No, that's not what I was talking about.
No,
I don't know. You're just gonna let the secret out because I can't remember.
You said you wanted first crack at him when you saw him on the show about the situation.
No,
it's a little. It's a little unfair. It's a little unfair. I want him at 100%.
Oh, come on!
Before I unleash that.
All right.
I want him at 100%. So I'm not gonna do that.
You're not gonna poke a bear. You're not gonna poke the bear.
No, I'm not gonna poke the bear just yet. But trust me, the time will come, and it will be worth it. The time will come, and it will be worth it. I promise. Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I had to think about it for a second.
Amy's over going, "What's he talking about?" And I looked at her, and she's like, "Oh, that." And I
yeah.
She's like,
I hope I'm at work.
Hey, we might pull you up on panel for that discussion.
You might have to be on. You might have to be on camera for that one.
Because I have questions about that, and I don't. You might have talked to Laura. I don't know that. I'll just leave it at that. You and my wife need to talk. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, it's not fair. He's not at 100%. He cannot fully defend himself right now, so I'm not going to do it.
I know.
I'm not.
We'll give him a break. At least
I just like watching him squirm because he knows that I know
It's coming.
And I just like watching him squirm with that grin on his face like a rabbit eating fries because he knows.
In the meantime, here's I
gotta be nice. I've always looked up to Creole. He's a great fisherman, an outstanding member of the catfish community, always willing to give advice, and he loves his family. And he can cook.
I appreciate that, and I can't take compliments very well. I can't. I just it's like I don't know what to do. But I appreciate it. I do. It gets awkward with me.
This means that you're humble. That's all.
I'm just. I don't know. I don't even know. It's been a crazy ride. You know what I mean? Like I said, 5 years ago, you'd have never told me that I was going to be up. Not only invited to other people's shows, but hey, me and Roger do a show of our own, and just all this YouTube craziness. I would have never, ever thought in a million years that that's where I would end up.
Now, knowing what you need, now about how you fished before and how we all fished before. If you knew that before, would you have stopped a lot earlier?
Oh, I can tell you now, knowing what I know now, I would have got back into fishing a long time ago.
Or I'm talking about, would you have quit doing what you were doing before? The way you were fishing.
Oh yeah. I will tell you hands down that it's way more fun. It's way more fun, and I get a lot more satisfaction out of it, knowing that I made that fish bite my hook. I didn't just stick a hook in his back while he happened to be passing by. Because that's the equivalent of it. That's what you're doing.
What's up, about it?
Mr. Palmetto. He's back.
Hey, and Yakshore was talking about that takedown that he had during that challenge, dude. I'm telling you that I will stand behind that one every day of the week, twice on Sunday, because not only was it one of the most vicious takedowns I've ever seen, but the fact that the entire kayak lurched to one side, that's what made the clip to me. It was amazing. I love that clip.
Yes, I saw that one.
Yep, it was during in fact it was during Kevin's challenge. He got a bite on that rear rod on that kayak. Oh man, it was something. I happened to be watching the live whenever it happened, and it was a good one. I promise you, it was a good one. Well worth it.
Absolutely.
I agree with this. Yep.
And I also agree with prayers do work.
Oh yeah, absolutely they do.
For those of y'all that didn't know, all of you knew that I had a stroke. But what everybody didn't know was I couldn't speak, nor could I use my right leg or arm for about 4 days. And I woke up last Saturday, and I made it a point to start talking. And I was tired of being there. And I was ready to go home.
Yep.
So I got up. I started walking. I'd already been walking for a couple of days. Well, 1 day, anyways. I was getting the feeling back in my legs and my arm and everything. Not really. I love to if I pick something up with my left arm. I knew it was there, but I couldn't tell if it was gone or not. I couldn't tell it. It wasn't if it was hot, cold, whatever. And now that's starting to come back for me as well. And in doing so, I made it a point that I was going to go ahead and talk, and my best friend come in to get me, and I started talking to him, and the words kept coming back, and more and more. I'm still not 100% here, but what I was in the last few days.
Oh, absolutely, man.
And if
it is nothing short of a miracle how far you've come just in this short amount of time. I guarantee you that.
Yeah. If you notice that I'm kind of clunking, looking down, if I don't, I'll get messed up real quick. So that's the only way I can get through the night the way we do is I have to concentrate on those words.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We understand. Trust me.
I just want to throw that out there.
What's going on, Sampy? Appreciate you coming in here.
Yep.
Yep.
But
So what's some new stuff coming? Do you have anything new coming for your channel, for your fishing adventures?
I
Anything
wish I
exciting?
had
I know
more.
you're happy about being home, close to home
Yeah,
for work. You know?
yeah. We're doing this little project right now in a national wildlife refuge. It's about 30 minutes from my house, and in 23 years of doing construction, I've never worked this close to home. I kind of don't know what to do with myself, and it almost feels like I'm doing something wrong. To get off at 4:30 or 5 and be home at 5:30. It's a very weird experience, but I'm still working a lot. I'm just close to home is all. I wish I had more time to dedicate to the YouTube channel, to put out more content, to do some of the ideas that I've got in my head. I just wish I had the time to do all those things. I will eventually. It's just gonna take me some time to get through them. I know a big thing that I'm trying to do right now is I just want to focus really, really heavy on my home state, on Louisiana. I'm going to try to use as much as I can get away with it. I want to use Louisiana companies, things that are made in Louisiana, things I can buy in this state. Anything I can do that is from home. That's what I want to use. That's what I want to push. Maybe showcase a little more of not just the catfishing part, but just what we do around here. Certain things that we do that they don't do around the country. As I have time, we're gonna get around to some of those things. But catching big old slimy catfish is still going to be number one priority. I promise you that.
Get a hold of Muskrat and have him to pay that message I sent to him.
But I have to say, when does he not sound drunk?
Yeah, well,
that is a good point.
I had to say it, but here's a buddy of mine. There's our buddy Dave.
yeah,
freaking shocked is how impressed he is for you being back.
I'm the same way. It's like when I first seen him pop up, I didn't know what to say. I couldn't believe it. Absolutely could not believe it. It is amazing. It is awesome. But I will say this is the quietest that I've seen Kevin on a show in quite a while. I will say that. All right, the last shot I'm going to take at you, I promise. Last one. I had to.
Take your head off. Not playing.
I'll take mine off too.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right. Yeah, like Danny said, no matter what, even though I can't make every show, the River Rats is still going to be part of what I do. We just have too much fun the few times that we all get to be on screen together. It is fun, especially when we get to hear Danny be crazy on camera. Oh yeah, it definitely adds to the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt. And we've got a couple little challenges coming up, a couple little loose ends we got to tie up. A couple of people just they just decide they want to call us out. So we might have to put that to bed real quick. You know how we are.
Thanks to be. So, what have you got coming up next? Clear up, my buddy. I can't do it.
I know we got a couple of things. We got a couple of things we're going to do now. If you're talking about Roger and I's show, which I think that's what you're talking about, we're going to start. We experimented with this last time, but we're going to start. We're going to turn the. We did that deep dive into fishing those ledges 2 weeks ago. So we're going to actually make a little series out of that, really dive deep into some of this stuff because, we got good feedback for it. So we're going to continue to do it. Next week's show, this coming Tuesday, we are going to have Brad, who is the owner of the Gunnersville Bait Company, on the show, talking all about proper methods of bait preservation, do's and don'ts. This guy's full of great information. Just me speaking with him a little bit, he gave me a couple of pointers. And when we put up 85 of them a few days ago, his device he gave me made a massive difference in what I put up for bait. So that right there is going to be a very, very interesting show.
Cool.
But we're just going to keep, Roger and I pride ourselves on bringing as much detailed information as we possibly can, really getting really deep into some of the things that people cover in general, but really getting down to the details. So that's something we definitely want to do a lot more of, is that hardcore pinpoint information that I think a lot of people are looking for.
Absolutely.
Yep. And Danny says we are at 4,278 pounds of fish caught between, that's between all of us for the year.
Yep.
And I know just me, I'm at 1,558 for the year. So many pounds of catfish I've caught, and that's in 9 trips.
And you caught how many this last trip? How many pounds?
325.
Yep. That was just on this last trip.
Yeah, I caught 300. Yeah, I caught 325 pounds this last trip out of 14 fish. 14 fish, 325 pounds. I actually rewatched the live piece by piece because I couldn't remember the fish we caught. I couldn't remember them all, so I had to go back and watch my own show to see what in the world I caught and what the weights were. I remembered the big ones, but that was it. I didn't remember everything.
And you were talking about bringing the specific information and stuff to your show. We're trying to do that a little bit with our show. I mean, we're still going to have our fun and all that stuff with it, like we've always have. We're trying to bring you some good guests that know a lot of information and stuff like that of what they do. We had an awesome guest last week.
Yes,
it's definitely talking about the electronics and stuff. Which I told him that we will be getting them back on, hopefully while he's on the water, with his electronics, so we can really go in depth with electronics.
Yeah.
So, because that's a little bit of what a lot of people are missing too, is how to set up the electronics in certain ways. Because he said that you can take away the fish and all you're seeing is the structure stuff. Yeah. So that's something that we need to look at too. Is where we can add that, or we can take it away depending on what we're wanting to do.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest,
if we just want to mark structure, we can mark structures, then go back over it with that setting back on it with the fish and say, okay, here's our mark of structures. Now let's scan it for fish and see if fish is there.
Yeah. And honestly, when I fished Sunday, I did a little bit of that myself. I took a page out of Epic's book. When we pulled up to that spot, I told Dad, I said, I want big ones. I don't even want to mess with small fish. So you know what I did? I dialed down my sensitivity so far that I figured I wasn't even seeing anything below 20 pounds. I wasn't even looking at them. And sure enough, I passed over what I knew were fish about that size, and I dialed my sensitivity down till they disappeared. And then I made another lap.
Yeah.
And when I saw marks that time, I said, okay, well, they're good marks. They're bigger fish.
Yeah.
I set up. First fish we caught turned out to be a 28-pound yellow cat, a little bigger than what I thought when we finally got to weigh him. Second fish was a 55-pound blue. And then it was a 42 or 43 after that. And it was all good quality fish. So the technique definitely pays off. I can tell you that.
Roger's already pointing out. I said, did he say electronics?
Stay
tuned. Yeah. So there's something out there on that one.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Hey, buddy.
So I got my new phone.
Watch out, boy.
What about that little picture behind back there?
Yeah, we want to talk about the fish.
That one right there.
Yeah.
That fish is actually a lot bigger than it looks. It's that's my hand in its mouth right there. That's probably I don't know, about a 50-pound blue, something like that. a good friend of mine is good friends with a taxidermist, and apparently his kids, they go visit him, and his kids play in his shop a lot. And anything apparently that somebody has done that they never pick up, my buddy's kids end up with it. Well, they bring that thing home and go put that in their big beautiful house that they have, and his wife is like, no, that I can deal with the stuffed coons and the stuffed squirrels and the the rougaroos made out of the butt of a doe. Okay, I can deal with all that, but she says no, the catfish has got to go. So of course my name came up, and he's like, hey, you wouldn't happen to want a really big stuffed catfish head, do you? And I'm like, send me pictures. And he thought I was kidding. He thought I was kidding. I'm like, dude, no, seriously, send me pictures. And when he showed me the pictures, I'm like, how soon can I come get it? And like, are you sure you don't want money for this? He's like, dude, get it out of my house. Like, really, get it out of my house. I'm like, hold on, I'm coming.
I wonder why she couldn't handle a catfish, but she can handle everything else.
I look, you got to draw the line somewhere, I guess. I don't. Yeah, just the catfish was just like, no. Well, I think what it was just one more stuffed creature in her house, and she was like, no, that's it. No, we're done.
Yeah,
gotta go.
So is it kind of like the bear for y'all show? It's the mascot.
I think so. I think this is gonna become the mascot. I believe my wife is named the fish. By the way, she's named it. The fish's name is now Villain.
It's
and Villain is Kate Villain. Villain is Kate Villain. That's Cajun French for ugly.
So it's Mr. Ugly.
Yeah.
So it's Mr. Ugly.
Yeah. So
for those who can't speak French.
Yeah. So yeah, the fish's name is Villain. So that's a thing now. And apparently I may show up here to do a show, and he very well could be either decorated or dressed up or who knows what. And I may or may not notice, depending on how tired I am when I sit down here to do one of our shows. That thing may have God knows what on it or in it, and I may not notice. So I don't know. We'll just have to see how that goes. I have a feeling this is going to be a running gag for a while now.
There's our buddy over at Dink Over Stink.
Hey, a lot of mine, my rod, and I really shouldn't do that. I feel bad, but not bad enough to do anything about it. But my rods basically stay in the rod storage rack on my boat. Now it's parked under a carport. It's out of the sun and out of the weather, but hardly. The only time I bring my rods inside is when it's too hot to re-rig them outside, which is kind of like now.
Yeah.
I'll bring them in and rig them in the AC, and then bring them back to the boat.
I do have to say hello to our buddy, Mr. Tiger Muskin.
What's going on, bro?
He's been killing it. I've been seeing pictures.
Really?
Yes, he's been killing it.
I'm way behind on all my YouTube watching. And it's a work thing, but I used to be able to watch like all kinds of little stuff that everybody put out, and I just don't have the time I used to, and it's sad because I miss a lot of good stuff that gets put out. I really do. And by the time I hear about it and think about it, well, can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
I'm either on the road or something like that. So that's how it goes.
And we've got a good lineup coming up too, for our show. We've got Mr. Joe Jellison next week with Chat Cats. Definitely have him coming up. We've got your partner in crime, Mr. Roger Muskrat Adventures, right after that.
That's going to be a good one.
And then right after that one, we have, you better put your guard dogs up, boys, because that's what we're going to be talking about.
I like it. I like it.
But yeah. But if you haven't seen it, definitely, and that what Jim just brought that up, definitely go over and to K&B Anglers channel and watch the shark video he's been putting out. It's a good video.
Yep. I'm actually shocked that we didn't catch any sharks in the river this year. I don't know how that happened, but we didn't catch a one. Go figure.
If I put any of my fishing gear in the shower, my wife will kill me.
Oh man, I actually need to bring in my rods and like clean them all real good. And Lyle actually gave me a good pointer. He waxes his, puts car wax on them. That way, if you do get something on them, it'll rinse right off. It won't stick nearly as bad.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
No.
Yeah, I know. I have to remember that.
But we're at the end of our time.
Yep.
Today.
We are.
And as much as I hate to say it, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, buddy. I figured you were. I figured you
your
were,
rest, brother.
So, but
oh, here you go. A little question, real quick, before we get out of here.
That I know of. I believe the bull sharks are the only one that can survive in a freshwater environment because they have some kind of bladder on the inside that stores salt water, and they actually give birth in freshwater. That's why they come up like they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only snark. The only Lord. Damn it! Never mind. It's the only one.
It's the only one that can handle it. Yeah, that's what I've always been told.
Yeah. We've got some awesome people in here. Yep, definitely. Dink saying it's good to see you, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. If you're ready, we'll take them out.
I would say you probably can hear I'm a little hoarse. Apparently, I decided to go swimming with the kids, and I basically swallowed probably about 2 cups worth of chlorine water.
Ooh.
Yeah. So my voice is about gone now. Yeah. I'm gonna have a bad night.
Yep. That'll hurt later.
Yeah. Yeah. So my voice is about gone.
Well,
but
go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I'm gonna say definitely liked everything that you had to say tonight, Creole, and putting up with my crazy ass right now.
But it's all part of it, bro. I'm just happy to see you. That's all. I'm just happy to see you.
Yep.
All right. Anything else we need to do?
Just that the disclaimer is just because what we did before YouTube is not what we believe now.
That's it.
So we don't condone those kind of practices now. So treat your fish right, CPR them.
Yep.
Selective harvest when you can. So
I'm gonna go ahead and take this on out.
Take us on out, buddy.
Have a good one. Whoop. Right.